O Great Spirit, Namaste. Saints and sages of all times, of all places, Namaste. O ye pathmakers of old, Namaste. O ye guardians of the air, the earth, the fire, the water, the ether, Namaste. Ancestors, ancestors, ancestors of our bloodlines, of all of the adopted lines to whom we attune, of all of the lineages to whom we are linked. Namaste. Most beloved and precious Ishtadevata, in all of thy names and all of thy forms, Namaste Ji. Most beloved Ishtadevata, we call upon thee today to be present with us. As the powers that be are here, be with us, that we may walk more closely with thee, more intimately with thee. Feel thy presence with each breath that we take. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Aim Hrim Klim Hum Gum Ram. Aim Hrim Klim Am. Aim Hrim Klim Aim. Hrim 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 Klim Klim Klim. Kasham 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 Sham Sham Sham. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaste Ji. Welcome to my heart. Welcome to our Sunday Sangha. A time that we come together, all are welcome, to lift, to attune, to bring our spiritual blessings alive, to vivify them. Once upon a yogi time, there was a man. When he was a boy, he was happy. But the seed of discontent, if you will, was in his being at the time he was born. The seed of worry, the seed of lack, the seed of suffering was in his being. Grew up, very well educated, got a good job, lived in a good country, lived in a good part of the earth. And one day, that seed of suffering and discontent started to grow, peaked up. Now, you've been there, you know this story. You've had it in your own life, haven't you? Everything is just fine, and all of a sudden there's this little tiny creeping through the cracks discontent. And like that little plant peeking up through the cement in the sidewalk, the discontent grew. Like the flower, It grew, it grew, it grew, it grew, it grew. Until he had very difficult days. His life was up and down and up and down and up and down. He needed help. So he goes to get help, right? But in the way of karma, my beloved, he ends up in a forest. Let's just say that. And in the forest, many, many trees. And all the trees are all of his life experiences, right? He's in the forest, deep, deep, deep into the forest. And he hears in the forest, rule makers. You must do this. You must do this. If you are going to be accepted, you have to do this. You must do this. By the way, loud in the forest is, you have to look at every pain and suffering you've ever had and examine it. Forget anything that's going to relieve it. No. And the voices became louder and louder and louder in the forest. The man was stuck. If you've ever been deep, deep, deep in a forest, and I know you have, stuck in the way that you walk around and around and around and around and around, and the thoughts spin and spin and spin and spin and spin, and you can't get out. So, there he is. A lot of breaths. He's in that forest. And all of a sudden he hears, coming from a distance, little yogi. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Oh, hi. How are you? Namaste. I didn't expect to meet anybody this deep in the forest. Well, you did. I'm here, and what are you doing singing in the forest? I'm here. This is my place. You don't look very comfortable, my friend. I'm perfectly fine. Okay, I have an idea, Are you sure you're fine? Well, this is a little uncomfortable, but this is where I belong. This is what I have to do. This is what they have told me I have to do. I have to suffer my way through this. Well, I'll tell you what. Let me make a suggestion. You don't have to do it. Just let me make a suggestion. All right. That's just fine. You sure now? Whatever I tell you to do, you'll do it. Just try for just a minute. Yeah. Okie dokie. Here we go. You see that hand that's clinging really tight? You see those thought forms that are heavy, 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 heavy. Yeah. Just take the hand and move it a little bit away. Now take the other hand and move it a little bit away. Now, step back. And the man steps back. And as he steps back, he sees the pain and the suffering flowing from his hands. The thorns were all over. It was really quite gory. Was it really his blood? Yes, it was his memory track that was flowing, my beloved. His memory track of all the hurts of the past were flowing through him because he had been clinging and clinging and clinging to them. He steps back. And as he's ready, just ready to reach back, to possess again, he looks up and he sees little Yogi looking at him saying, there's another way. There's another way, my beloved. And then he hears all around him, no, you must suffer. You must examine all of the suffering. You must become enmeshed in it. You must stay here with us. Who are you? Who are you without that suffering? And the sound grows louder and louder and louder and louder. And he's got a choice. Big choice here. What's he going to do? But the funniest thing happens. In the midst of all of this chokos, chaos, confusion, hurt, pain, suffering, chaos is really chaotic. This. He hears this slight little doesn't know what it is. And a slight, through all of the darkness and the gloom, the little yogi, and he sees a ray of light. The man sees a ray of light. Not very much. That Om was a whisper. The other voices were so loud, so loud, so loud. So what could he do, my beloved? What could he do? He stepped back and he started sobbing and crying, confusion. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Little yogi says, I'll tell you what. Come with me just a little bit. Come with me just a little bit. Let's go someplace a little more comfortable for a few minutes. You can always come back here. I don't want to give up my suffering, the man said. For who am I without my suffering? Who am I without my memories? Who am I without my pain? Who am I without this? I don't want to give it up. You don't have to. Trust me. It'll be here when you come back. And so with great fear, great anxiety, great concern, great apprehension, and continued great confusion, they walk a little bit of ways. Not very far. And you've been there, my beloved. And there's the grove. There's the grove. All the trees, the ancient trees are right there. And the sunlight is pouring down. And the silence is as deep as you can imagine. And waiting there for this beloved soul, he sees the divine. He sees his Ishta Devata. And he says to the Ishta, where have you been? Where have you been? Where have you been? In the midst of all of my suffering, my pain, where have you been? Why did you leave me there? I thought that you were supposed to help me. Isn't that an interesting question? The first principle in the philosophy of Kriya Yoga, which is a way of life. Kriya Yoga is a way of life. It is a way of philosophy, a way of you living your life to find happiness. Happiness is attunement, one with life. The first principle is that underlying all of life is the law of karma. And within that law of karma is the principle that every human has the capacity to soften their self-created karma. You, and you alone, can soften your self-created karma. Where was this man's Ishtadevata when the voices were screaming at him, when the suffering and pain was filling every cell of his consciousness? The Ishta was there. Just as your Ishta is with you, my Ishta is with me, regardless of the chaos of our lives, regardless of the darkness of the moment, regardless of the sunlight of the moment. You know, sometimes life becomes so joyful, so wonderful. I don't need to pay attention to my Ishta. Everything's great. And then the karma, time gate goes. Life happens. And you think, oh, I better pay attention. I need to have that intimate relationship. And what did the little yogi know? The little yogi knew that the man was so enmeshed in pain, so enmeshed in suffering, and had so many voices of the others telling him he wasn't good enough, he could never have enough, and there was no way that he was ever going to be loved. Might as well just give it up. Just join us and be miserable. And in the confusion, the fellow really didn't know what to do, but he had a moment of blessing. He had a moment of blessing. And with that moment of blessing, he was able to step for just a nanosecond out of the pain and suffering and into the silence, and to hear and to see again his Ishtadevata. You and I, one of the primary methods that we have in Kriya Yoga to mature along the path, to grow along the path, to become aware of the nature of our being, not just our physical being, but our being, the totality of who and what you are. And your attunement to this life is your attunement to your Ishtadevata. We've been talking about that now for the last couple of weeks together. I said to you, you need to think about what you value the most, what attributes you value the most. Is your Ishtadevata bilingual, multilingual, a polyglot? Is your Ishtadevata able to heal? All Ishtadevatas are able to heal. But did you think of that? Is your Ishtadevata wise, funny, humorous? Can your Ishta remove obstacles? Is your Ishta accepting of everything about you? All Ishtadevatas are accepting of everything about you, my beloved. Now, all forms of the divine, as identified and created by humans and theologies, are not accepting. Not all. Some are judgmental. But why would you want to attune to that? You don't need to attune to that. It's not necessary. It's somebody else's idea of the divine. Now, as we move to this next step of intimacy with the divine, there is a necessity of what shall we say? trusting for just a moment, trusting. And for just a moment, being willing to let go of the idea that you must suffer. You can pick that idea up again if you want to. Really, you can. It'll be there waiting for you. Trust me. There are enough cues, props upon the earth that will bring that back to your consciousness if you choose. Suffering is simply a misunderstanding of life. Why do you suffer? Why? Because you don't feel loved enough. Why don't you feel loved enough? Oh my goodness, from the minute that you are born into this earth, really, and it's quite interesting if you meditate upon it, but from the minute you're born until you're 50 years old, no, not quite, but there is a necessity, certainly when you're first born, first couple of years, of pleasing those beings who are taking care of you. You know, you have to cry when you're hungry or when you're uncomfortable. You have to find a way to communicate your needs, and you have to find a way to please them so that they will fulfill those basic needs that you have, that they will continue to comfort you, to make you feel accepted in this earth plane that you've come back to for the 100,000th time, but think that you don't know its nature. Through all that, seeking in the beginning to have the approval so that you're taken care of, then there comes the need for separation, for standing on your own 2 feet, for saying, I see, this is how I must do this. This is what I must do to walk this path. But because of that early condition in the human experience, there is always this feeling of, am I doing it right? Are they going to approve of me? Am I going to be accepted? But that's very, very, very limited. You know, it's limited to the idea that love is not just loving you and accepting you as you are, but that you are loved because you do a certain thing. You are loved if you behave a certain way. If love and because love. Too often, this is what we experience in our lives. But your Ishta Devata, my beloved, loves you. With all of your wrinkles, all of your acne, or no acne, or spots on your head, or personality flaws is really the bigger thing. Yeah, they don't care what you look like. But they love you with all of your personality, biases and prejudices, your thorns. So the question today is, how can you believe that? How can you come to know that? You don't want to take my word for it. That's not necessary. It's not correct. In yogic philosophy, it's not a philosophy that says, well, Swamiji says this, or Mahaswami says that, or, Goswami says this. No, 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 no. It is your primary experience. All that I'm here to do is to help maybe shine a little bit of light on the way that you could walk the path. But you and you alone, you and you alone, do you hear? You are the one who can free yourself. Doesn't mean you're alone. You're never, ever alone. But you can choose. You can choose to be happy. You can choose to study. You can choose to practice again and again and again and again. You can choose to sit down and meditate when every thought that rises in your mind is a thought of suffering or discontent. You can choose to say, there's got to be something here. Let me do some mantra. Let me do some visualization. Let me do something to help free here. Now, because of that, in choosing the relationship with your Ishtadevata, you my beloved, are the one who is seeking the greater intimacy. Your Ishta is here. Your Ishta is radiating love with you, to you. No interruption, except the static that you get when there's a static from a bad internet connection or a bad television connection. That static is the emotionality that rises in your mind. It is not you. You are not the emotionality of your mind. Do you hear me? You are not the emotionality that rises in your mind. That's not you. You're not your suffering. All right? You're not emotionality. Oh, it certainly is part of life experience, but it does not have to dominate your life experience. You may choose. Sometimes that choosing is just saying, well, I'm here. I'm here. Now, this is going to sound like I'm going off in another direction. I'm not. This will hook up. Just a slight sharing that I need to say with you. Share with you. Your Ishta Devata is not judgmental. Your Ishta Devata accepts you completely. Doesn't matter if you believe that or not, but the divine accepts you completely. The divine does not judge you. The only judgment that you're going to get, and this is really frightening, is when you judge yourself. That, to me, is one of the yogic principles that is the most frightening. Because I know that the divine is kind, good, compassionate, and non-judgmental. But I'm not so sure about this mind or this habit, the habits of this mind. And so you must recognize and ask yourself, do I really, really believe that there's anyone, any being in the universe that can accept me as I am? And if the answer is no, that's okay. It's all right. You can still say to your Ishta Devata, look, I've got a problem. And we need, you and I, to learn to speak more intimately with your Ishta Devata. To be able to speak frankly, freely, using whatever language you will use. You approach with respect, but you have to be able to speak in the way that your heart needs to speak. In whatever language you need to speak, symbolically, symbolese, or, Italian, Norwegian, Spanish, Japanese, English if you must, French if you can, if you will. You must learn to speak to your Ishta. This is the next step. And so we've talked a little bit about naming your Ishta, introducing your Ishta to you, introducing yourself to your Ishta. What name would you like your Ishta to call you by? And you will find over time that the name that you call your Ishta and that your Ishta calls you, it changes over time. Just like you might look at a beloved and first call them by their full formal name, or call them by a nickname. And then, as in my family, when we use a full name, it is more intimate. Everybody else knows the nicknames. The full names are used if you have an intimacy. What is the name? But the next thing this week, the next thing to do, is to ask your Ishta. I've said this to you once in one of the last couple of weeks, but ask your Ishta this week. Intentionally invite your Ishta to come with you everywhere, to be with you everywhere. Everything you do, your Ishta does with you. You're sweeping the floor, the Ishta's there. You're changing the bed, the Ishta's there. You're making the bed, the Ishta's there. You're making sandwiches for the family, the Ishta's there. You're making a salad, you're arranging flowers, the Ishta's there. You're going for a walk, the Ishta's there. You're going to the theater, the Ishta's there. You're going to a concert, the Ishta's there. You're dancing to some wonderful music, the Ishta's there. You're playing your guitar, the Ishta's there. You're doing a ritual for the departed, the Ishta's there. The Ishta is with you whatever you are doing. You're reading a good book, the Ishta is definitely there. And then during those times, you need to begin to carry on a conversation with your Ishta. What you're seeking to do is to become so intimate that you find yourself without any difficulty expressing your concerns to your Ishta. Your Ishta should be the first one that you express your concerns to. In the beginning, my beloved, it's words. And then it becomes symbols. And then it becomes the need to ask for help, not only for yourself, but for others. I do this for you all the time. I'm always talking to my Ishta, saying, I don't really know, show me, help them. Somebody called me the other day, and they said, this person's very ill, and they would like this recording of such and such that Swami Pranananda did sometime in the last 70 years, 80 years. Alrighty then. Okay, they told me what they thought the name of it was. And my mind became a little agitated, to be honest. And I thought, well, how am I going to do that? And I went to my Ishta and I said, look, it's late in the morning. I'd like to be able to do this. Would you help me? Please. And through the night, I was chanting and meditating and praying that this person would do this. I get up in the morning, I go down into my private meditation space, and I look over in a separate, behind a curtain, and I see a binder. And I wonder if there's something there. Open the binder. First page I open it. I didn't open the beginning, but I opened the first. There's a CD there. And I said, I wonder if that's what they're talking about. Oh, that's a different name than they told me. I bet it is. Oh, I'm going to have to take it off the CD and blah, 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 blah. All the moaning and groaning. Just leave it down here. Go meditate. Go upstairs. Go up to the computer. And I thought, well, I wonder what would happen if I put this name in. Well, I put the name in, and wouldn't you know it, there's this little short 12-minute teaching. All I had to do was copy it, paste it, put it on an email, and it was gone. Now, there was a lot of mental blah, 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 which I could have really avoided. But here's what happened, my beloved. The person who came and asked me was very emotional. Our friend really, really wants this and hasn't been able to find it for years. Please. My mind picked up on the emotionality. Watch your mind. How does your mind pick up on the emotionality? Instead of immediately turning to the Ishta and saying, okay, I'll take care of it. I did say after a moment, I'll let me meditate and pray and I'll find the answer for us. But I picked up on the emotionality. And I will tell you very freely, I was afraid to disappoint. And it seemed like a massive thing to do, to look for. But I didn't want to disappoint. And so my mind became emotional when it should not have. Had I gone directly to the Ishta, it wouldn't have been a problem. And it wasn't a problem. I told you the story. It wasn't a problem. It was so simple that when the mind was quieted and I turned to the Ishta and said, this is what the person needs, And after it was all taken care of, I receive a note from somebody and it says, you don't know what this means to her. She's been trying to find this for over a dozen years. And I said, well, nobody ever asked me, I don't. Not that I could have gotten it for her a dozen years ago, but what am I trying to say to you? Your Ishtadevata will help you in things that you think are mundane, my beloved. You think they're mundane. You think they're not important. Why should I talk to the divine about finding a CD, finding a recording? Why? Why should you do that? And some theologies will tell you don't. Kriya Yoga says do. Do. Because only through that kind of intimacy with the divine will you learn to listen to the divine. You ask and you must learn to listen, my beloved. Do you hear me? And you listen by, what are the urges? What am I being told to do? How is that opening? You must learn to listen. To have the intimacy, you have to learn to listen. But, as we also say, the divine is not going to come down and tap you on the shoulder and say, hola, ¿cómo está? ¿Bien? Or, buenas tardes. Or, bonjour, monsieur, bonjour, madame. And so what I'm saying to you for this week is begin to consciously communicate anything you need with your Ishtadevata. Now, forgive me. I can hear my guru saying, in the beginning, it's okay if you just have a whole list of blah, 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 blah. But after you get that out of the way for the first 60 seconds or so, you have to be quiet. I was complaining to my guru one day about something. I don't know what it was. But I was going. It was more than 30 seconds. It was more than a minute. And he said, Swamiji, how long are you going to hang on to this pain? How long are you going to do this? And I said, I don't know. Because I didn't. I felt like a kid saying, I don't know. As long as I want to. Okay, your Ishtadevata will tolerate that as long as you feel the necessity to do that. Your Ishtadevata will sit there and listen, but at some point you have to say, how long am I going to do this? This is getting a little redundant. I'm finished. And then you sit in the quiet, all right? You sit in the quiet and you listen. And you just ask, free me from this difficult karma. Show me the way, please. And then maybe you need to go sleep, rest, take a rest. So, what we're working towards, and in a sense, you're probably thinking, well, this is just like having a relationship with somebody. Well, your relationship with the divine, in the beginning, you are following similar paths to the path that you would if you were trying to have a friendship or a relationship with someone that you deeply, you wanted to have an intimate relationship with. Always that that the Ishta is accepting of you. You may think that the Ishta is judging you, but that's your subconscious. That's not the Ishta. All right? Now, So try that this week, because this path will lead to an unbelievable greater intimacy. A blessings flowing into your life far, far, far beyond your wildest dreams, your wildest imagination. And it will be joy for you. Now, I'd like to close our time together with a meditation of healing. For your Ishtadevata will heal you. Now, that's not the right way to say it, really, mystically. It's not correct. Your Ishtadevata will assist you to draw forth all of the energies of life, all the powers of life, to heal yourself. God doesn't do it to you, my beloved. Mama doesn't do it, Papa doesn't do it, Guru doesn't do it, mother, father, brother, sister. No, husband, wife. You must draw that healing to yourself. And the healing is of the karma. The difficult karmas do not have to manifest, but when they have manifested, we need to heal them so that we do not carry them in the same form into the next incarnation. So now we will go and meditate together, and then we will close with prayer, as we always do, offering our energies, our yoga siddhis, to the beings that are in need, including yourself, including myself. I urge you, give it a try. No harm. Give it a try. And if you find resistance, talk to your Ishta. Say, I don't know about this. I don't know quite how to get closer to you. Please help me. Show me. Help me to let go of my pain and suffering for just long enough that I can see a speckle of light and I can find my way out of this tunnel. Namaste, Ji. Let us turn into our meditation. Sit with your spine erect, if you will, your hands in the Om Mudra, your attention focused at the sun center. Turn the head to the left, exhaling twice. And bring the head back to the center, beginning to watch the breath. Use the sipping breath to draw the energy from the limbs to the trunk. From the trunk to the spinal column. From the base of the spine to the sun center. Take that energy and move it out in front of you as a golden ball of light. Expand it. And now sweep around your body counterclockwise 3 times. Encasing your entire being in light. And now ascend. Ascend to the high place. Om Namo 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 reaching the grove of the meditators, the highest high place. Pause at the entrance. Feel your welcome. Enter the garden, the grove, and find your meditation place. Call upon your Ishtadevata to join you. In front of you, you see a meadow. Ask your Ishta to join you and enter the meadow. And find a place to sit in the meadow. It is teeming with life. The flowers, the bluebirds, the butterflies. Breathe in the life of the meadow. As you gaze in your mind's eye, you see the expanse of the meadow and its beauty pouring forth to you. Having supped upon the beauty of the meadow, you see a path in front of you. It leads up the mountain. This high mountain meadow, the mountain leading further up. And with ease you ascend, walking with your Ishta. The path is easy. But halfway up, you see a bright, brilliant light. From a distance, it looks like a waterfall. as you approach, you hear the mountain echoing with the Om. The path opens. The waterfall is of light, inviting you in. The sun is pouring down, the waterfall coming from the highest places. You walk into the light. It is a waterfall of light pouring through every cell of your being. Washing away all of the negativity, all of the dis-ease, all of the hurt, all of the suffering. The light pours upon you, and you realize it is the color of healing. Your color of healing at this moment is pouring down upon you. Breathe in the light. Exhale the negativity, the difficult karmas, the confinement, the hurt. Feel yourself beginning to ascend as you become lighter and lighter and lighter. When you are ready, you walk forth from the waterfall of light, the healing light. Your beloved Ishta there blessing you. Gazing into the eyes of your Ishta. Smile. Greet your beloved Ishta. Feel the smile returned. Feel the greeting returned. Gaze into the eyes of your Ishta, silently speaking these words or sharing this similar thought. Most beloved Ishta, Namaste Ji. Free me from my negative thoughts, that I do not pass them on to others. Free me from the confining karma, that I do not hurt others, that I do not hurt myself. Send forth thy blessings to me, that I might be a blessing unto all. O beloved Ishta, free all beings from their difficult karmas, all beings in all realms without exception. Free them, free me. Free all beings in all realms from their suffering. Free them, free me. Free all beings from all confinement. Heal them. Free them. Free me. Heal them. Heal me. O ye powers that be, we call upon thee at this moment to send forth thy blessings to Mother Gaia, to all corners of all universes. Thou knowest better than we that which is needed. Ease the suffering, ease the pain, ease the difficulties. Soften, 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 soften the karmas in all realms. My beloved, feel your light pouring forth. You and your Ishta and you, the divine ones joining with us. And let us chant the Om Shanti mantra. Feel the light radiating forth. Om Shanti. 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 Om Shanti. 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 Om Shanti. 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 Most beloved, let us join together with the powers that be, focusing your attention at the sun center, you and your Ishta and you, I and my Ishta and I. Using the Ananda, feel the golden dewdrops of Anandic bliss pour forth and filling the lack as each sentient being wishes to have it filled at this moment. Send forth the blessings without exception, that at the right time, the right way, they will be received. And we will chant Ananda in 3 rounds of 3. Each time refocusing at the sun center, each time sending the golden dewdrops forth. You and your Ishta and you, I and my Ishta and I. Ananda, Ananda, Ananda. Ananda, Ananda, Ananda. Ananda, Ananda, Ananda. My beloved, we have done that which we came to do. We leave the rest to God, to Guru, to Lord, to lineage. Hold on to the feeling of sweetness. And if the clouds come and the forest looks dark and the winds are blowing, close your eyes and see the light and remember the goodness that thou art. Remember the light shining within every cell of your being. Remember the love and the blessings of your Ishta Devata, and know that you are not alone. You are a part of this great and wondrous Indra's net, this great and wondrous life. And thou art a blessing. Use every skill that you have, every means at your disposal to become an ever greater blessing to all who enter your aura. Namaste. Namaskar. Namaste Ji. I thank you for your blessings, for the blessings of your presence, for the blessings of your meditative energy. Thank you. Namaste Ji.